Take it off. Take it off.
Once again, it's your boy NerdBoy D. Collaborate with the boy Neil Sinlack. I am the NerdBoy. Working with Nickel City Chronicles once again. We have a very special guest left right here. The lovely Z. She's my personal guest for the night.
Nice.
And we got my boy Johnny Menzies. Now, the lovely Z. She's my personal guest for the night.
Nice.
And we got my boy Johnny Menzies. Now, Johnny Menzies is a entrepreneur. He has some projects and stuff. He has his own business, and we're gonna talk about it today. So I'm gonna turn it over to my man Johnny. And Johnny, let's let the world know exactly who you are, my brother.
Yeah, well, first of all, thanks, man. First of all, I'd just like to say thanks for having me actually on this podcast, Neil,
of course.
And NerdBoy D, because it's definitely an honor to be in the presence of supporting you guys' business, actually. So me being here kind of supports the project that you guys got going on, and I appreciate that you're willing to have me on. And some of the topics that really, get my heart is businesses supporting businesses. Right. And that's why we're here right now, right? So that businesses support businesses, because a lot of time people don't understand that money is power, and the way you utilize your money should be support your community and those in your community, right?
Exactly.
So that's really kind of how I want to kick it off tonight, is just talking about how this podcast supports my business, that we support the community.
Yeah, that's cool. I'm a student of business. I'm currently at UB. Went to ECC, got the 2-year business. Now I switched over to economics, trying to hone in on something, trying to really learn what's going on and how to, not so I can get into the stock market, and then so I can get into investing, and also maybe open up my own business, or possibly get a job in the logistics aspect of things. But when he told me what your background was, I was like, let's do this. Like, it's right up my alley. Maybe I can learn something. Maybe we can have a good conversation about.
Absolutely. Yeah, so I got a background, so I'll tell you guys my background, because I know Z and I kind of know each other from my past, so it's kind of funny, because NerdBoy D started dating one of my sisters. She's like my sister in business, so Z and I go way back, and she know I've been in the business world for quite a long time, and one of the things that I really appreciate about Buffalo is that Buffalo is a big, small town. I think I was telling you guys about that, right? Oh, yeah. And that if you know a lot of people and you're good with people, you can live here. And if you're not, you're just in bad scenarios.
To kind of piggyback off of that, it's a friend of mine. He's from Oakland, my boy Raven, and you know how they got the thing 6 degrees of separation. Yeah. Buffalo is 1 degree, because everybody knows somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody. And who would have thought? Me and her, we've been knowing each other for about 14 years going on. And, we were just having a random conversation, and we brought you up because we were talking about, like, network marketing and everything like that. And then, like, maybe about 2 days later, you text me randomly out the blue. Yeah. It's like, I haven't heard from Johnny in years. I'm like, oh, it was kind of a shock. And it's just like, I got the podcast now. You could bring it, come in, talk about your business, and, we can all help each other out, because we all, at the end of the day, we all trying to make something of ourselves. So why not, man, help each other out? Yeah.
Absolutely. So that is I don't believe in coincidences, right? I believe that some things happen, and that the universe brings people together so that something can happen, and we have to make that opportunity and take advantage of it, right? So when Derek told me he had a podcast out, and he was working with you, Neil, I was like, well, why not get that together? Why not spread the word of positivity to make businesses work? So one of the things that I tell, because I do business in Buffalo, and one of the part of the things, I'm not going to get specifics into how I do business or what kind of products today. I know you guys wanted to hear that, but I'll tell you that my business is in health and wellness. I have a lot of health and wellness products that I market through a company. Yes, it is in direct marketing, which is a good industry. Some people like it, some people don't. But the way I do business and my philosophy, I want to share with you guys, because I think it's going to help the world and even help you guys, transition and make this podcast something bigger if you want to. But I know you guys do it for fun. So.
Yeah, take it away, man. Take it away.
Absolutely.
Tell us your philosophy now.
So I'm a big fan of, if you're doing business with people, they should be doing business with you. And I'm going to give you a really good example of what I mean by that. So I know personally that I'm going to a barbershop, right? And I'm getting my hair cut, and I'm getting I'm supporting this business, right? Well, that business owner has a family, that business owner has clients, that business owner has people that he's also doing business with, well, if I'm putting my money into his business, why wouldn't he support me?
Right.
Why? Because it's feeding his family, right? I'm feeding his family. I'm putting my money into his family. And the thing about it is my products, I have health and wellness products, that we market through our business. I have skincare. I'm partnered with a lot of different companies that sell, shoes, computers, all different kind of brands. And I know he's utilizing the same products and services that I have.
Right.
Right? But he's buying it from my competition, but I'm not going to his competition to get my haircut.
Right. Exactly.
So if you're going to spend money and utilize money, why wouldn't you keep the money? I call it keep the money in a circle. Keep the money in a circle of entrepreneurs so that we can grow together. Because this is what I was talking about with NerdBoy D, is that you go to, say, maybe some Asian cultures or some Hispanic cultures, or you go even to the cultures in our local area, like, some of the Middle Eastern people that buy stores in our neighborhoods, like our African-American neighborhoods, and we go to their stores.
Right.
But when we see our own stores, we go to Walmart and Target. Nothing wrong with Walmart and Target. I think they have decent products and stuff. But what's up with supporting our own?
And Middle East, nothing against them. Nothing.
I think they're great people, great cultures.
Yeah, they're actually a great example of a group of people who stick together and keep, like, I know a Jewish family.
Exactly. Yep.
Who they have their community of Jewish people in Buffalo stay together, help each other out with jobs.
Yep.
Give each other whatever they need and help each other out. And it's like a network that you're talking about. That family doesn't have to be based on religion or faith or your race or where you came from. That could be your city. That could be, you could just make one. You could just literally just through friendships.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep. So through friendships and networks, exactly what you're saying. And the thing about it is, in those cultures, if you have a, say, hairstylist salon and I have a car wash and we're both a part of that same culture, I'm going to go support you because, you are family. You are in my culture. You are in my network of business owners.
Yeah.
And that's powerful. That's
networking is big, man.
That's powerful because think about it. In those cultures, every time $5 is spent, 4 of those dollars will circulate in the community before one even leaves to go to a place like a big box store or a thing like that, right? So I think it's amazing that, I'm coming on a local podcast here in our local Western New York area. And I'm here to support you guys, but it's cool because you guys know I have online products. You guys know I have networks into the community. And I'm supporting local. I'm not going on a national podcast to talk. I'm talking to you guys locally, right? I'm doing exactly the philosophy that I think will build our community.
Yeah, and we hoping to build this. Hopefully, we do it for fun, but if we could build a national fan base, it can help us put other people on.
Absolutely.
Other people like you. And I've taken. You gave me some samples of the vitamins, and I feel a lot better. I feel more energetic. I have a little more zip in my.
Pep in your step, right?
My step, and it's cool because it's like, now that you gave me those samples, I could buy products from you directly, and it's just like you say, circulating the money.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Because we do have like I say, not to knock the Middle Eastern people or whatever, but we do have a lot of them in our neighborhoods that really don't support our businesses when we put them out, especially black business.
Exactly. Yep.
So it's just like we gotta. For me, I say we got to start buying back the hood.
Yeah.
To really start, circulating that money back into our own neighborhoods. Because, they make the money from us and send it to their people to take care of their people.
Back at home, back where they're from.
I can't knock
Which is amazing. I think it's amazing that they have that family dynamic and culture.
Yeah, exactly.
And sometimes, a lot of time, especially in today's age, we're always focused on making it a race thing. But how about people that are like-minded, Neil? Right. Like when I think about it, I don't even think about it like, you look different from me or I look different from you. I think about how about we think about it as in like-minded individuals.
Yeah.
And when I say like-minded, I don't even define that. Where I understand how economics works. I understand that my influence is your influence and that we can influence together. How about let's focus on having people that want to work in unison and harmony. Mm-hmm. And a lot of time, everybody's about self. Let's think about it. We're in the social media generation, right?
Yeah, there's no excuse not to be linked up together.
Exactly, but
social media.
But the thing about social media, it's all about me. How good do I look? How good is our group? How good is this? Like we all want to. We want more followers.
I want the most likes.
I want the most likes. Yeah. I want to look the most good. But
look at it like this. It's like fucking high school all over again. It's like we got clicks. Yeah, it is. We got clicks. It's like if you're not one of the cool kids, you kind of just like, oh yeah, we're not gonna really pay attention to what you're doing because you're not like the in crowd. So it's just like that, and that's kind of what makes it hard, especially in a city like Buffalo. Like I say, not knocking my city, but a lot of people are like kind of, if they know who you are, even if your product is shit, they're gonna support you because you're one of the cool people.
Right.
But like, you know, versus somebody that's actually meaning well, that actually wants to do right for you.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And that was the reason why, you know, you talked about the samples I had given you before. Yeah. And the reason why I gave you those samples is because I wanted you to know that I wanted you to be better off, even if you didn't decide to follow through with the buying of it. Mm-hmm. And that's important to me because I want you to know that my product is good, and whether or not you support it or not, I was given in good faith. See, I'm personally, you know, I was talking about going to church, and I'm personally a Christian, so that's what I believe in. You know, Jesus Christ is my Lord and Savior, and I truly believe if you give, you will get back, and then just keep giving, keep going out there, keep putting out your product, keep putting out what you have, and then that universe will pay you back for it, or God will pay you back for it. And not because you're expected to, because you can't do so much without getting something back. It's like, Neil, you told me you were going to college, right? You can't keep going to college and learning this information and eventually not be good at it when you start applying it, because that's all you're consuming your mind with, is with that education, with that business. And yeah, you need practical knowledge, but practical knowledge will come at a point when you have the applicable knowledge, like the mental knowledge. You get what I'm saying? You have to then go apply it.
Yeah, that's the most important part, is applying. Because you can learn stuff, you can have all the information of any topic or any whatever you can think of, you know, any subject, right? But without applying that knowledge, it's nothing. It's worthless.
Absolutely.
It's absolutely worthless. It's just words.
Yep.
The application of it, actually doing the process, actually getting up and doing something about it, that's where it all begins. That's where it actually get something back out of it.
Absolutely. You know? Yep, absolutely. And you know what? I'm inspired by you guys, because to start a podcast takes a lot of effort and a lot of work, right? I know you, like, hey, you didn't see it beforehand, guys, but they did a great job, like, setting up the lights here. They got the microphones going well. They had all the things, and that is the step of an entrepreneur. It's going in faith.
With that, I give full credit to Neil, because this is Neil baby right here. Like, when I came in, I'm like, when I first saw this podcast on YouTube, I'm like, hold on, are y'all like a bar recording this or whatever? And then I came here, and it was just like, wow, this is a dope setup.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know, I'm trying to get my own setup like that. I'm trying to get like Neil with this.
Yeah, man.
Get my own thing.
Yeah, we linked up the same way you were talking about. Oh yeah, go ahead.
She's making her podcast.
Yeah, no, not in particular. But you know, this is my first time here. I'm a little podcast shy, so.
No, that's cool.
You know, we're
really laid back. We're just having a talking. Jump in whenever you want. You know, don't matter.
Yeah.
But what I was gonna say was, me and Derek linked up this throughout, and we didn't even do this on purpose or anything. Just naturally, throughout the same philosophy that you were talking about, was I saw another podcaster in my area in the same boat as me, just starting off doing it for fun, and I reached out to him, and now we're doing podcasts together, and we're helping each other grow. His people are watching me, my people are watching him now, and we're growing from that.
Absolutely.
And it's like, just like you said, it's that simple.
It's that simple. So it's that simple, where I'm supporting your product, you're supporting my product, and we're going to grow from that. But here's another aspect too. Most people see the word entrepreneur has become like a buzzword nowadays, right? Everybody wants to be the entrepreneur, but the problem is everybody doesn't have the heart and consistency. I was telling you guys about this while we were setting up, actually, right? Yeah. It's that people don't understand that you got to be motivated by more than something but money.
Right.
Yeah.
It can't just be about the money. It's got to be about the people that you're affecting through your products or service, because if you don't have a purpose, then your process really doesn't matter, because everybody falls in love with the process, right? They always fall in love with, I got to do it this certain way, when CDs don't exist anymore, at least in the way that we used to use them. Right? And then now you transition to MP3s and stuff. So the product is always going to change, but people need to realize is that people serve people. People don't serve products.
Right. So this is one thing, like, I see about it. Like, it's easier to start something, but because people don't, like, friend of mine, my big brother, Steve O. Johnson, he has his Matty Ross clothing line. A lot of people don't know exactly the time and effort it goes into getting these clothes. Like, you gotta put in the orders at the factories across seas. So you gotta hope that they get your order right. One, the order still gotta pass through customs. You still got customers that put like a deposit down. It's a process. Like, I don't watch them do it myself, so taking that and learning from that, you know, I can put it into my own thing and try to, you know, learn from everything he's going through to possibly do something, you know, a little bit better. But regardless, it's a process. You can't just start a clothesline and put a stamp on a t-shirt.
And say you're an artist at that point, but you're just not an entrepreneur.
Right,
you know,
right. Big difference.
It takes a lot more effort to make those things happen. Yeah,
because you definitely gotta make sure you gotta think about material. Like you have you can't just put like a regular t-shirt out, sell it for like $50 when it's only worth like $5.
Yeah,
you gotta really think about quality, all that stuff, because
the market, right?
Absolutely.
It's a lot of work behind it, and a lot of people just don't get that part. They think it's just so easy, and it's not. It's a process, and you got to be willing to live that life. Like you said, the lifestyle. It becomes a lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, and there's so many aspects of business, right? So a lot of times when you start a traditional business, I don't think people put this into account, that there's so many different aspects of business. So there's like the HR department, which is hiring people. You got logistics, you got selling a product, you got making a product, you got setup, you got, attorneys, legal department. There's so many aspects of running a business, especially a traditional business.
Right, and then you have to ask yourself, do you want to outsource those things like logistics and marketing? Do you want to have somebody else do that stuff for you? Because you can pay someone to do all that stuff for you.
Yep.
But will you make as much money if you kept some of that stuff in house? How much of it can you do yourself?
Yep.
How much of it can you hire people?
Yep.
So those are the questions you ask yourself when you're starting a business.
Yes. Yes, and it's important because
that's where networking comes in.
That's where also too is knowing people. Like, it's been so amazing living in Buffalo. And I'm from New York City originally, guys. So that's my background, right? Mm-hmm. And the thing about being from New York City is that I was always a networker, even from high school. Like, I debated marketing and I did mock trial growing up. And one thing I always knew is that my network was the true power of where I was going. Because nobody goes anywhere by themselves. But the problem is, you'll listen to a song and they'll go, I did it on my own, I'm the man. And
like,
nobody does anything great by themselves.
Yeah, there's always something that helps you.
Something. Like, you guys are bringing me on because of this knowledge that I have. Well, guess what? You guys have the resources to bring this to market. And I think if people could understand that it's not a solo thing, and if people could stop glorifying that it's never a solo thing.
You think of like a TV show, you got writers, actors, you got producers, directors, cameramen. It's a process. Like, we got 2 cameras set up right now, about 2 different light fixtures, 3 mics. You got to make sure the sound quality is good. So it's an effort behind everything that people just don't understand.
Yeah,
it's just like in a lot of people.
We didn't just sit down and record. We had to set up.
That would have been the fun part. We're like, listen, all right, we all care. It's just.
Yeah. And then even with team building, like, you got people that, like, if you have to have a solid team, you can't have nobody that's slacking, because it's always going to be a team effort. Like, you can't have that person that just
You know what a quote I like is you're only as good as your weakest link.
Yeah.
And if your weakest link is only trying to be around when the ship blow up, then
drop your weak link sometimes.
Yeah.
Or get him to come up.
Or elevate him.
Yeah.
Elevate him.
Like this. Yeah. And sometime I'm gonna take the glasses off. Stay fucking motivated if you're gonna be part of a fucking team, because it's so hard out here to build shit up. Damn it.
And then, you know what though? That term motivation, right? I follow a guy named John Maxwell, amazing guy, amazing author, super amazing. I read his books and stuff like that. And one of the things he says is that motivation is fleeting. He says motivation is fleeting. It's like a bath. You need to take one every day. And honestly, I say stop getting motivated, honestly. Find your purpose and start getting committed to the day-to-day grind.
You said it perfectly. Find your purpose.
Find your purpose and
you have one.
Everybody has one.
Everyone has one.
Everybody has one. And that should be the reason why you start the journey. Like, when you wake up, if you don't know what your purpose is, you're just going through the motions.
Right.
And go ahead. Sorry.
And I was going to say, finding your purpose is the first thing, right? And then you got to assess the situation that you're in. Like, I mean, I shouldn't say you. Let me talk about myself. I got to assess the situation that I'm in and look around. And am I around people that are going to build me up or put me down and shut me down? And if I have to make changes in my life, like, I might be in a relationship with somebody who is going to prevent me from doing my purpose. And I got to make a choice. Is it this person or my purpose?
Yep.
And then I got to cut some ties if I have to.
Yep.
And you become who you surround yourself with.
Absolutely.
You surround yourself with people that are just like partying all day and spending all their money on crap. you'll do the same thing. You'll be partying all day, spending your money on it.
Absolutely.
But if you surround yourself with entrepreneur-minded people, people that go to church, whatever, whoever it is, you will become that person. You will elevate to that level.
Yep.
You know, and you sometimes you got to find someone who's willing to let you in because they might see you as like, well, if I'm around that person, he's going to bring me down. But if you show them that one thing about yourself that they actually do, maybe you do impress them a little bit, they'll let you in, and now you're good. Now you're in with the circle, and you can come up to that level. But you have to find the people that you can mold yourself to.
Yeah. And you just touched on a topic that honestly I forgot until you said it. It's finding the right people is key. And when I say finding the right people, I'm going to define what the right people are. Here's what the right people are. Do they have a commitment? Do they have the same drive? Do they have integrity? Will they stay committed after their emotion has fleeted? Like, because everybody likes to get hype on the hype train, right? But after that humdrum is over, will they stay committed? See, the thing about being in a business or startup or whatever you want to do, it's not a job. Right. There's no pressure. Right. Like, your boss is pressuring you. You don't show up to work, you get fired. But an entrepreneur, if you don't do what you need to do today, nobody's going to fire you. Right. Like, you're going to wake up tomorrow and it's going to be another day. Right. And it's just going to be that. But when you find people that are committed, again, going back to the purpose, that's when it gels well. So if you realize when I'm going into that barbershop, I'm going in to support his business. Because yes, I want to look good in my haircut. He does have to have the skills. I'm not going to say that's not important. I can't just go anywhere. But when I'm going into that barbershop, I also want to know that he's willing to support my dream and purpose the same way I'm supporting his dream and purpose.
Right, good point.
Because if he's not willing to support my dream and purpose, then why am I supporting his? And you know what? Like I said, if we can band together and you can recruit people or talk with people that have that like-minded purpose. Now, it sounds good. It's harder than you think it is because you have to be willing to go through multiple people. And that's where people get faint-hearted. Because I got faint-hearted in that scenario. Is you go through 30, 40 people and you think that what you're doing isn't inspiring.
And the worst thing about that is, like, of course, you want to look out for your day ones, your people, like whether it's family, your day one friends, whatever. Sometimes, it's an inevitable thing that it's going to be at least one person out that group that's not going to be on the same page as you.
Yep.
And you're going to have to, like, kind of cut them off the scenario.
Yep.
It's sad that it has to happen that way. And then, like I say, like, then you got some people that, they don't want to put in the work. They don't want to lay down the bricks with you, but they want to come in the house when it's fully built.
Yep.
And it's just like, inevitably you have to get people that's on the same page with you. Like Neil and I, it's just funny how we connected. We could thank Miles Carter for that because we both had him on our podcast individually, and then we did a joint podcast with him. So it's like,
right.
We've been brought together with Miles Carter, like by him. We got to take him out for steaks or whatever, something.
It's true. You gotta support the people that supported you guys.
I jokingly say this, but it's dead ass serious. Like, this is like my podcast and soulmate because we kind of went through some of the same shit with, like, some different people that we had in a loop.
Yeah.
Like, I had one guy that was my co-host for at least like the first 6 months of my podcast, and just out the blue, he just kind of disappeared on me. So it's just like, and it happens. Yeah. So, like, it's never gonna be a perfect situation where you could bring your day one people in and build some money up, and then you still got to worry about if you do have a business. Say we make $1 million. You gonna have that one person. After I make that $1 million, they want to dip. Okay, we made some money. We rich now. Like, nah. It's like, now we got to keep that money. We got to maintain that money, and we got to keep that money coming in. We got to keep it circulating. And a lot of people don't get that part either. It's just like, you think, okay, because we made $1 million. Okay, now it's time to make 2. After that, 3, so forth. But it's just like, you got to keep your group solid because, like you say, you're only as strong as your weakest link.
Yep.
And if your weakest link ain't shit, then the chain's going to unravel.
Yep. Yeah, no, I was thinking about my early podcasting years. And I went through a couple co-hosts myself, but the first one, and these are, I'm not talking shit or anything, but the first one, he just wasn't as motivated as me. He just wanted to do it every once in a while. I got pool tomorrow, I'll catch you next week. Or I got to go to the mall, we'll do it next time. Always pushing it back. And I was like, okay, I got to find someone else. Then I found another person that was sort of as motivated as me, and he wanted to buy equipment, and be like, okay, since I'm buying all the equipment, you can do all the work.
Mm.
I'm like, okay, I don't really care about your investments. I don't need that. I can get that on my own. And another thing about him, he was just real fucking close-minded. Like, it was his topics, his worldview was the only way that's true. And any other worldview is wrong. And if you show me anything to prove otherwise, it must be a conspiracy.
Wow.
Because only I'm right and everyone else is wrong. So I was like, I got to get away from this. This can't. I'll never. And
there's no growth. There's no growth.
And the views, their views reflected our show because it was not moving at all.
Yeah. And
then all of a sudden I started doing my own thing. And then that was right before I started linking with him. I started doing my own thing, and then I just boom. I was at 2,000 subscribers. You know, nothing crazy.
That's a beautiful thing, though.
But it's
beautiful thing.
Just starting out.
I'm seeing growth now because I'm willing to jump out and reach out to different people from different walks of life.
Yeah, and you guys hit on something that I have experienced over and over and over again. A lot of people don't realize something. Like, say, let's use the example of a job, right? How many people do you realize that a job, like a corporate job, they literally put out resumes, right? Or they put out their job ad and get resumes from like 600 people sometimes. And they don't even look at the resumes at first. Right. What they do is they have a software that matches up the words from the job description to that person's resume to see if that even matches with crazy. It. And then it drops it down to 300 people.
Yeah,
and then after 300 people, they go, does this person have the education? And then it drops it down again.
Right.
So another half of people. So think about it. The person in HR is probably not calling more than 30 people, if that, to do phone interviews. Right. And for us to think that the person we started out with is just going to be a person we're going to make it big with is almost crazy. Like, it sounds good.
Yeah.
It sounds good. But at the end of the day, you got to be okay with having turnover. You got to be okay with finding multiple people, because anything great requires a large amount of people. Anything great requires that consistency. Anything great requires you to have a group of people, and then you need to go through the numbers to find the right people.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's crazy that you say that because, like, you know, even with having different views, like, you know, some of Neil's views are different from mine. Some of my views are different from yours.
Right.
You know, me and Z might not have all the same views, but we just mesh so well because we have a common goal in mind. And, you know, part of building a team, especially if you're starting a business, you know, you got to put, you know, you got to be unbiased about a lot of stuff.
Mm-hmm. And at least if you and I disagree on something, at least we both cover the two opposing viewpoints, so that the viewers can be represented by somebody, and not just be like, oh, this person doesn't represent me. You know what I mean? We have that like dynamic where we can see things. We agree on a lot of things, first of all, but some things we disagree with. You see it in the comments, like, oh yeah, I think Derek's right about that, or no, I think Neil's right about that. But it starts the conversation though, and it makes it more intriguing that we're not just yes men each other all the time.
Absolutely.
Because I can get dull real quick.
And then even when we do like this, if we do have like a slight disagreement about something, or we disagree fully on it, we not at each other's throat like a fuck you or
right.
Yeah,
that never happens.
We cool. We just like we understand that we agree to disagree, but we do it classy.
Right.
And you know what the important thing about what you guys just said is, and it kind of came to my mind as you were talking, is listen, if two people share the same thoughts all the time, then there's no need for one of them.
Right.
And I didn't make up that quote. I wish I could remember who was the quoted that quote. But the point of having two separate people so that there's strengths and weaknesses that each person brings to the table. And when you disagree about something, you have an argument. See, people miss the whole purpose is that there are thoughts happening that bring creativity.
Yeah.
And if you didn't have that argument, then guess what? There would be nothing new created.
It would be dull, right?
It would be dull. So whenever you have a conflict and there's an argument, realize that there's a problem there. And that's important that there's a problem, because when you go back to business, the whole reason you started a business is to solve someone's problem. So they're buying your service because they had a problem.
Right.
I had a haircut that I needed, going back to it, that my hair was bad. He solved my problem. My product helped Derek get a little bit healthier because he needed vitamins. He felt energy. My product solved his problem. Right. See, that's why when I roll it back, I said, if you're getting in business, remember the purpose has to be to solve the people's problem, because the product won't solve the problems of people.
Right.
It's people solving problems for people. We got to remember, we're doing this business for people. That the viewers watching it on your podcast, we're doing this for them because they're going to look at this podcast and go, maybe I want to get into entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
Maybe I had some thoughts about that. I'm not the only one that ran into these issues. Yeah. And maybe you guys are helping them understand that we're helping them solve their problems in their businesses or thoughts. So,
exactly. And this is why I love doing the podcasting thing. Like, I have podcasts on many, many things. I've done stuff on mental health. I've done podcasts while I was going through like a mental health crisis and, just letting my feelings be felt throughout that process. And then, you got people that listen to it. You got people that's, watching on YouTube with this. And it's just like, maybe something I said might have prevented like that person from doing something terrible to themselves. Or, getting the help that they need for their mental health or, just making them more aware of mental health or aware of, being a business, being in a entrepreneur business type of deal. So it's just like the podcast, like I use it, it's therapeutic for me for one. And then another thing about it is just like anybody that's going through some of the stuff I'm going through or trying to figure themselves out, maybe some of my words, some of Neil's words, even when we had Miles on Miles, I disagree with Miles on a lot of stuff, but after talking to him, I kind of understood better his way of thinking too. So it's like we might not always agree. It's like kind of like Martin Luther King and Malcolm X.
Right.
They had the same common goal to help black people, just different ways to get into it. Yep. Malcolm X was a little more radical. Martin Luther King was a little more peaceful, but they had a common goal. So it's just like, okay, people kind of like, okay, I can dig this. They might have been divided, but at the same time, they had a goal of uniting people.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's a lot of times you see this. You're looking for the same solution. No, you're fighting the same problem, but you have two different solutions. And a lot of times you might see that they help each other. Like the good parts of one solution can be the outweighs the good of the other one, and then you put those two together, and all of a sudden you have a new solution that no one else ever thought of.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you hit on a good point, and you hit on a good point. And the point is that the purpose still was same. The process was a little different.
Yeah.
The purpose was the same. Maybe the process was a little different, but that's okay that the process is a little different as long as you don't forget about the purpose. And really that's what it goes back to business and putting together a team, right? So when you're vetting people, like you're vetting people to put together this podcast or put together this business or let's make this happen, we got to understand that, again, I'm just going to keep repeating this because it's important for people that are viewing to realize this, is that purpose needs to always come before mission, before anything else. Because you have to find the right people and the right purpose. Now, when you find the right purpose, it's okay to find people that have different strengths. See, a lot of people that are in leadership try to get, especially this is my mistake. And Z knows this for a fact. If anybody in this room, Z knows this really well, is not everybody's going to be like you. So let them work in their strengths and just love them like Jesus would.
Yeah, I like that. That's a good one.
And love them like Jesus would.
Yeah.
Because I know that I have this direct personality that I want to get things done, and some people like say just have more of a laid back personality, but that works well with people that don't have your personality because you can point them to someone successful that has a different personality, so that's now not an excuse for them.
Yeah. And I see it like this too, like just like what you said, Bill, like working with somebody's strength, like being in the military, I made sergeant. So with me being sergeant, if I got soldiers under me, and with that, if I'm doing something, we doing a mission or whatever, I'm the type of guy, like, I don't have to be the know-it-all because I have rank. Mm-hmm. My whole thing is, okay, I'm going to use this for an example. I had annual training, and like part of our mission was to, fuel up a few generators and everything. So me and two other soldiers, the one soldier, he was real good with the trucks. Like, he could back a trailer up like nothing. The other girl, she was good. She was good with the fuel system. I let her work that. I was a beast at the paperwork. So it was just like, since this is your strength, you do this. Your strength, do this. My strength, I'm gonna do this. Flawless. Yep. So it's just like if you work everybody to their strengths, even if y'all views is different, no matter what. It's 7+ billion people in this world. Yep. We all got something in common.
Yep. Absolutely.
At least if it's only one thing, we got that one thing in common, and we all got our strengths, we all got our weaknesses. We gotta sit down, like if you got a team, you gotta sit down, have a conversation. One, figure out if you're the right fit for it. Yep. If you're not the right fit, leave it alone. Yep. No love lost, just it's not for you, cool. And that's another thing. A lot of people need to respect that when something's not for somebody.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Because it's like a lot of people that gets bitter. Oh, you won't support my business, or like
exactly, and then they create that tension that wasn't there. And I made that mistake so many times. I wish I could say I didn't, but I did. Where somebody just wasn't meant to be in that scenario, but because you forced it, or like pushy salespeople. That's another thing too. Everybody's product has value, but not everybody's product is valuable to the same person. Right? And there's nothing wrong with that.
You gotta find your market. You gotta find your
exactly
who are you gonna sell? Who are you looking to sell to?
Who are you looking to be your target audience? And understand that that's who you're looking for. There's nothing wrong with other people. They just don't vibe. By the way, NerdBoy D, thank you for your service in the military. I did not know that. So I appreciate the fact that you was willing to serve our great country. I'm a big supporter of the United States of America. So
I keep that.
I appreciate that though. I was in a JRTC, didn't make it that far, but I have a lot of respect for those people that do.
I appreciate it, brother. And, and I know you remember this, World Ventures.
Oh, absolutely. I remember them.
World Ventures was, that wasn't for me at all.
Okay.
You trying to get me to buy into like discounted vacations, which is cool. Like I said, if it's for you, cool. Like my brother was doing it.
Yeah.
He made a lot of moves. He made a lot of great moves with it. Shout out to my brother Evan. He Evan Middlebrooks. I'm NerdBoy D. Look me up on Facebook too, Derek Middlebrooks. If you want to get into the podcast and if you want to jump on the podcast, look me up. Johnny Menzies on Facebook, Neil Sindak on Facebook. You about to say something?
No, I'm just listening.
She's really, really shy. We're gonna break her out of that shyness, but yeah, World Ventures was like this kind of vacation. They biggest thing, they had this young kid. And looking back at it, and like I say, no knock to them, but I feel like it was probably like a young kid they hired to say, "Oh, I was retired by 27" or something like that. And it's just like, that was how they got people attracted to it, like the thought of an early retirement. But what they don't tell you is like, you got to maintain a certain amount of people. Like that type of network marketing, it wasn't for me because the simple fact that I got to constantly work on getting people to believe into this product.
Yeah.
And they got to. I think it was like $350, $365 or something like that to buy into it. Yeah. A lot of people, especially during the pandemic now, that was going now. A lot of people don't have that money just laying around.
Right.
You got to kind of like work with people, like, and this is why the network marketing thing wasn't for me because I don't feel comfortable trying to sell a product to people, and especially, and this is the biggest thing. And we were just talking about this. Believing in what you're like selling. Like we're trying to sell a podcast. I believe in this fully, 100%.
Yep.
This is my baby. This is like something that like it's a hobby, hopefully turned into a career. Help some people out. And a lot of people buy into stuff that they don't believe in, and then they wondering why they don't go nowhere. If you're going to do it, believe in it so you can push forward with it and be successful instead of just wasting your time.
Or I got an even better one than that. If you don't believe in it, just believe in yourself. Yeah, like a lot of people gotta trust like their inner gut sometimes.
Right.
You know what I mean? Just understand that there's a reason why you have a inner gut. And you talked about the direct marketing business. That's the business I'm in. I've been in it for years. And one of the and one of the things I've learned over the years is that people don't like to be, anybody has to be sold into something. You have to keep selling them to keep doing the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. You need to just find people that want to go where you're going and let's just do it together. Yep. Like I realize this podcast is great because it's getting the word out to people about your podcast. I realize that I have a business and I want to teach people about business concepts and thought process. So guess what? I feel like that was a good vibe. So guess what? We're doing it together. A lot of times people, again, going back to wanting to like recruit people, you got to figure out whether or not you want to get there together. Let's do that purpose together. If you're a part of the Asian community, right? They support each other because they realize that it's important for them to grow together.
Right.
Hispanic people all live in one household. Sometimes financial reasons is, but another reason is because they save money. Right. They save a ton of money.
Smart.
You got 3 generations living under one roof sometimes because they save money. But you get to my culture, and I know African American culture is the same, so I'm just talking about my specific experience. But as soon as you get to age, you want to get your own apartment, you want to get your own place, and then what happens? You get into debt because you don't have the resources to keep up that lifestyle. Check the check. Right. You know what I mean? You sometimes get yourself in trouble, but those communities, they don't mind staying under one roof, and maybe grandma lives upstairs, maybe, second generation, because they realize that by us staying together, we're stronger together than we are separate.
It's funny you say it like that, though, because my dad, it was my great-grandmother, my grandfather, great-grandmother, grandfather, grandmother, my dad, his brother, and my Aunt Michelle all living under one roof.
Mm-hmm.
And, my dad and his brother, they were grown men sharing the same room.
Mm.
Yeah, oh yeah. The house I grew up in, me and my brother shared a room, tiny room, smaller than this room, way smaller than this room, probably half the size of this room. Me and my brother were twins. The next room over, my sister, my parents in another room, my grandma upstairs, and my other grandparents 2 blocks away.
Nice.
So it was all like, we're all right there. And that's how that's just how it was, you know what I mean?
Yeah, my dad and his brother, though, they were both in their 20s and 30s when they were sharing.
Whatever, though. You got to do what you got to do.
It's
smart.
It's smart, though, to economically, especially when you're starting off, to keep that way. Now, you don't want to stay that way forever.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's really important to start out right. And it's another thing before, so kind of go backwards, because we're talking about the foundation, is what are we really teaching our next generation about business and entrepreneurship? Because I know when I grew up, nobody was teaching me how to do finances and add up numbers. Now, my parents was 19 and 20 when they had me. They were trying to make ends meet, and they were going on with their own conflicts with their parents. So no one was teaching me about finances, about stock market, about all these different businesses in order for the next generation to be better off than I was.
And that's something that's really like I guess you could say it's something I hold close to my heart about financial education, because in the black community, a lot of us, we don't have it.
Yeah.
Like the fact that, we get a large sum of money, like stimulus checks. You got more people going to go buy some J's, buying outfits and bottles and shit instead of investing it, maybe paying their bills ahead of time. So when, you start working again, or if you get unemployment, like you could, like right now, I feel like it's the best time to come up with COVID and everything, especially if you either working from home, you're not driving to work, so you're not wasting as much gas to go to work. You're working from home, you don't really have to do much, but you can stack money. Or if you're just sitting home collecting unemployment, let that unemployment stack up, pay your bills, start like investing in shit. Especially since so many people want to be entrepreneurs now, this is the best time to do it. This is the best time to come up.
That's
because
true.
The money's there. We getting all these stimulus checks, unemployment, extra 300, extra 600. So you get more money on unemployment than you was working.
Oh yeah, that's how it is.
Why not?
It's a weird
Why
time.
not use that to invest?
And you know what, though? I'm a big proponent of, the government's giving us something, but you got enough in you to do it yourself.
Yeah.
And I believe this before we got into this circumstance.
Yeah.
I was always looking to inspire the person to be more self-reliant than he was on anyone else. And here's the reason why. And my philosophy is, if I can empower the person, that person knows he's got it in him to do something, then they're less reliant on the government, which means less regulations that are going to be passed, because we need something. Yeah. And I'm a big proponent of freedom and freedom of choice in the Constitution.
Me too.
And I feel like every time we give up our freedom for something that's given to us, for the security, that we're not living the American dream to me. Right. We're not being in the spirit of entrepreneurship, because the entrepreneur says, there's a problem, I'm going to fix it. The person that's sometimes on unemployment, and not that there's not people that don't need it. I don't want to pick light to that.
Yeah.
This was 2020 was a rough year for a lot of people that had their parents pass away. I already know you can feel that the most out of all of us. So I'm not taking light that it wasn't a big thing, but at the same time, the entrepreneur is looking at, how can I fix that problem? They're not, I want somebody to fix that problem for me. And that's really important for you to really know. That's the heart of entrepreneurship, is the entrepreneur is thinking, how can I? Not I can't, so let someone else do something for me. Yeah, and I feel like the American people can do things for themselves.
Oh yeah, I agree with that. Like I'm the type of person where it's like, people need help. I get that. And a good sign of a great country is a country that can help the people who need help.
Yes.
But at the same time, too, we got to keep the economy, keep the market, keep everybody at a spot where you're incentivized to go out and earn something, because we all have the potential to become our own kings and queens of our own lives.
Yeah.
And own property, buy a house, own a business. It's all right there, laid out for you under the Constitution of this country. Yeah. Anybody can do it. You know, that's one thing that I think we need to keep in place no matter what.
Yes, right. and the thing about it is every time somebody gets something, they think there's for free, but there's nothing free.
Right? Yeah.
There's nothing free. There was so many strings attached to what we said was free, and I'm not gonna get too deep into it, but nothing is free, guys.
They definitely tax that unemployment.
Even just the energy that costs of going out and doing something that you're spending. I mean, this is business 101 is the term. Opportunity costs.
Yes.
Like, what is the cost of me going out and purchasing this from somebody, or what's the cost of me doing it and building it myself?
Yep.
That's the opportunity cost. You gotta weigh your options. You know what I mean?
It's always cheaper to do it yourself.
But that's what that's what he said. Nothing's free. And so there's always that opportunity cost. Always.
So here's the crazy part about it. So I went to Buffalo State College, and I'm not gonna say the person's name, but one of the professors that in economics, great guy, huge into entrepreneurship, and I always see him in the supermarkets. I always run into him in the super. I don't know why, I just do. And I ran to him one day, and I was like, "Hey, I have products and services I think I could provide for you," and I did the same thing I did for NerdBoy D. I was like, listen, I will drop off these products to you, try it out, and he became my customer in economics. Wow. And it's crazy. It felt great. I can't deny it. Felt great. And it's cool because now him and I, whenever I'm selling products, it's not just about selling products. I teach him about what's happening in the marketplace, and he's actually getting into the marketplace and cryptocurrency and telling me things like that. And I think it's great because I'm helping support him as the professor. The thing about school, and there's nothing wrong with school, but that we are in the information age, and it moves so fast that by the time a textbook comes out, Neil,
there's a new one coming out.
It's a new one coming out because it's outdated.
Right.
It gets outdated so quickly because it's moving so quickly.
Yes.
Yeah, that's my whole thing with the Buffalo public school system too, because I talked to a school teacher and she was telling me like a lot of the school books in the school are from when I was in high school. I've been out of high school almost 16 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it's just like, like you said, information is coming in a lot quicker now than it ever was.
For example, Pluto is not a planet anymore.
Yeah, it's not even. So people teach.
Who knows what's going to happen 20 years from now?
Right.
Everything changes. You know what I mean?
Right.
But like you said, we're in the information age. There's no excuse not to learn something. If you can do it, there's always do it yourself. YouTube, how to fix your car. There's so many things you can learn on your own. You should be going to school to get your certificates and your credentials. And like, there's nothing wrong with spending some money on education. But like you said, if you really now in this day and age, you have the option to actually go to a library, get on a computer, and learn things on your own and become as wise as possible without spending as much money.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I'm not telling people not to go to school.
No. If you're going to be a doctor, I need you to go to school. Because if my heart, I need you to know what to do.
Learn how to fix a heart on YouTube.
On YouTube. Don't YouTube that. We're not approving that. Go to school. Sorry, I don't know if the mic is a little loud. But
no, you're good. You're good.
Yeah, don't go to school to do those things. Like originally, I was going to become an attorney. I was going to become a corporate attorney. And here's something I would kind of want to wind down the topic of conversation. Because I think...
Yeah, we're just about in an hour.
Yeah. I'm going to wind it down on this topic. There we go. So I'm gonna wind it down. So this is my personal story. So this is kind of close to my heart. So originally I was going to school for political science, legal studies in college, and I was going to become a corporate attorney. That was my track. And I was cool enough that I actually met an entrepreneur. It was one of my mentors. His name is Jerry, and he told me, he said, if you want to know, and you touched on this topic, he said, if you want to know what your life's going to look like 5 to 10 years from now, look at all the people that are mentoring and coaching you currently, and you're going to have their life. He said, because they can't teach you to do something they've never done before.
That's amazing.
And that blew my mind. And I'm going to tell you why it blew my mind, because he said, that is the lifestyle that you're going to have. And I thought that was cool because I thought that lifestyle looks great. But then he showed me his entrepreneurial lifestyle where his wife doesn't work anymore, that they bought the house that they have that Zeno's out in cash out in Lancaster, and that, they're being mentored by people all over the country that don't have jobs, that live that freedom lifestyle. He said, yeah, that life is good, but that's what you become an entrepreneur for, is to be able to have control and freedom. So I didn't know that the career path I was choosing, really I wasn't choosing the career path, I was choosing the lifestyle.
Yeah.
And the lifestyle of the entrepreneur was what I wanted, because I wanted the freedom to have my future wife to be able to stay at home. I wanted to raise my kids in Christian values. I wanted to teach them about Rome from the Roman Empire, as opposed to a textbook or a YouTube, or maybe through a video chat, because I had a case that I needed to take care of as an attorney, and I had to do it in between cases. Say, hey kids, how's it going? Check you later. Busy lifestyle, yeah.
But it's like we need attorneys and everything too. So I mean,
oh yeah, nothing wrong with attorneys. I have my cousin's attorney. I know a bunch of attorneys.
It's like we need them, but like me and her, we talk about this all the time. Where I say like, I want to be able to have a life to where we both don't have to work.
Yeah.
If we want to fly to Trinidad, we're just making a phone call, making them flight reservations.
Yep.
Like that's the type of life I want.
Yeah.
That's what I hope that this podcasting can provide for me.
Yep.
Right.
And inspire people to have those similar lifestyles. So for me personally, I know that the lifestyle I wanted, an entrepreneurial lifestyle, specifically in the direct marketing industry that I'm in and the people that I'm partnered with, I realized that was going to give me my lifestyle because they already had it.
Right.
And a lot of times people go into something without mentorship, and everybody throws out that word, I want to mentor. You know what you really want to be? A good student. Yeah. Because mentors have a lot of people that want to take from them to elevate themselves, but not a lot of people who have that servant's heart.
And then you got to remain teachable always.
Listen, no matter how big you get.
I'm a big reader of like Plato and Socrates and all those ancient Greek writers and stuff like that.
One of my favorite books
and
right now.
And that's what they always talk about, is you always have to know that if you think you know everything, you
don't know nothing. You're an idiot. Yep.
So this is my philosophy on that. I would rather play dumb and get shit right than act like I know everything and fuck shit up.
Yes,
that's one of my favorite books.
That's a good way to look at it too. That's a good point.
And
that was a good
one of my favorite books is the 48 Laws of Power.
Yeah, I have that.
Excellent book. Like if you really want to really get your confidence, everything, 48 Laws of Power is a great book because it
shows you historical things that people have went through and how they overcame certain things or didn't overcome, and how to learn from it. And how to really be like a manipulator of life.
Yeah, not in a bad way. If you want a mentor, that's a mentor. That book is a mentor in itself.
It's like a modern day Machiavelli book.
And the thing about it is people think that mentors have to be people. Like you said, mentors can come from books, mentors can come from podcasts, mentors can come from many different ways. But the most important part is whatever journey and path you're on right now, realize someone has done it before, and you can either learn from your own mistakes or you can learn from their mistakes. But the best is their mistakes, because you'll move that much quicker.
Right.
And I want people to know,
learn from other people's mistakes is a huge thing you can put attached to your belt.
Yeah, and I want people to know that
be observant.
Absolutely, that being an entrepreneur is not a sexy life, not just a sexy life. It's not a cool buzzword. It's not a cool thing. It's a lifestyle, and you have to be committed to the lifestyle and grind of it, and just be willing to support people that support you. You need to get like-minded people that have the same purpose and mission. And I want to say thank you guys for bringing me onto this podcast to talk about it. I think that
flew right by.
Oh my God, yeah, because listen, when you're flowing and you're in the right energies and you're a good company, things just make things happen, and I think this podcast is going to be amazing. I'm glad I was a guest on here.
Yeah,
I appreciate that. Appreciate that, guys.
So keep you in the loop of people of the regulars.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I appreciate it. I mean, I appreciate being able to talk to you guys. I appreciate, again, keeping the business in the community. You know what I mean? And I look forward to coming back again one day, being a guest.
All right.
Yeah.
So, anything you want to say?
Any parting words from anybody? Come on, you got to say something.
Nah, this is a great example of how play to each other's strengths. He's just like a podcaster. He's got like the gift of gab, and I'm just like the spectator and the learner.
No, that's cool. That's cool. That's funny.
She's always been like that. Even when she was with me, she would just be like, "Johnny, did you realize this?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, I didn't." So she's always the good feedback person. So,
yeah.
She gives great feedback.
She is awesome because I don't know. Me and her just mesh well.
Nice.
This happened. Her and Johnny are like family, so it's like,
it's my sister.
Johnny's becoming family. Neil just like my podcasting soulmate.
Soulmate, right?
This is my brother right here.
Nice.
So it's just like we all just like this right here is a team within itself.
Yeah.
And
absolutely. I agree too. I agree too.
But it's just like, we helping each other out, we building each other up, and that's another thing. Like if you got people in your circle that's tearing you down, get rid of them, because
you don't need them.
That's just a negative energy. Positive energy create positive results. So, with that being said, this is your boy NerdBoy D, Neil Sendelak, got the lovely Z, my man Johnny Menzies. Any parting words? Anybody else?
We out.
God bless.
NerdBoys.
Have a good one.
Nickel City. We are out.
Great.
I'm a G.